Welcome to Russell Games. Today we are going to show you how to play Plushie Pier. We're going to show you a player 1 and a player 2 round. When you first open the box, you're going to have two different sets of cards. First set is your Plushie Pier cards. They are the larger cards along with your pier. Your second set is your Plushie points. They are smaller cards, and you want to separate them between the waves, the shells, and the sun. And you're going to put them in ascending order 1 to 16 so that you have 3 decks of points. Then you're going to set up your pier by placing 4 cards face up on your pier. Like so. Then you're going to deal out 2 cards to each player. Player 1, player 2. You also want to have your draw pile and a place for a discard pile. For your pier, you are focusing on the prices of each item for sale. The prices are also shown by the corners. For example, this manta ray costs $26.81 or $26.81. So, first player, when you look at a player's hand, you are focusing on the numbers in the corner, because those numbers are going to tell you how much money you have to spend on the items in the pier. And you can manipulate this by turning it, the numbers in your hand. There are 2 things that you can do when it's your turn. You can swap or you can buy. If player 1 chooses to swap, player 1 can swap 1 or both cards in their hand by discarding and then drawing. Or they can swap the cards on the pier. 1, 2, 3, or all 4 cards can be discarded and new ones set out. And this can help mess up player 2's hand. But then that also ends player 1's turn. Next thing that a player 1 could do is buy. And there are 2 ways that they can do this. They can spend an exact amount for one of the items on the pier, or they can haggle. So I'm going to start with player 1. And player 1 can actually, if you're looking at player 1's hand and the items on the pier, player 1 has an exact amount to buy the hammerhead for $12.26 by manipulating their hand. $12.26. And the reason why you want to buy with an exact amount is because now player 1 has the hammerhead, also the shell. So player 1 would get the first shell card, showing that they have 1 shell that they have bought, and they now have 1 point. That goes down face up for player 1 But another reason why you want to buy exactly is because at any point in the game, this card can also be used to make your prices. That would end player one's turn. And you need to fill up the pier, and it's player two's turn. Player two has the same options. They can swap by swapping their hand, one or both of their cards, or they can swap out what's on the pier. Or they can buy if they have an exact amount in their hand to match the price of one of the items on the pier. Or they can haggle. If you do not have the exact amount, you can always haggle. This can be done by looking at, we're going to choose the mana ray here. Mana ray is $26.81. And you can go, when you're haggling, you can go $1 less than what is written on the price. This is $26.81. He can haggle by going $26.77. If you choose to haggle, and let's say player two chooses to haggle, they get this card, but this card cannot be used in the future for making prices for future buys. Instead, it is placed face down on that player's. They do, however, get the first sun card. So they do get the first sun card and they get the point, but they cannot use it for future buys. And that ends player two's turn. That ends the round, and you want to make sure that you replenish the pier, and then you can continue the rounds. And that is the basic way to play Plushie Pier. Enjoy!